So, Jack, today's topic is something we all experience every single day, yet somehow it still surprises us: the weather. I mean, one minute it's sunny, the next minute it's raining, and suddenly you're questioning all your life decisions for leaving the house without an umbrella.
That's so true. And the funny thing is, weather is one of the most common conversation starters in English. You can talk about the weather with a stranger, a friend, a coworker, even someone you've just met for the first time.
Exactly. And today, we're going to help everyone learn how to talk about the weather naturally in English, not in a textbook way, but in a real-life, everyday way. Because saying, "the weather is good today," works, but it doesn't sound very natural, does it?
Not really. Native speakers usually use more casual and expressive phrases. So let's start with the basics. If it's sunny, people often say things like, "It's a beautiful day today," or "The sun is really bright this morning."
Yes, and if it's very hot, you'll hear people say, "It's boiling today," or "It's so hot I can't even think," which is something I personally say a lot in summer. When it's cold, instead of just "it's cold," people say, "It's freezing," or "I can't feel my hands, it's so cold."
Now let's talk about rain, because rain gives us so many useful expressions. You might hear, "It's pouring," when the rain is very heavy, or "It's just drizzling," when the rain is light and gentle.
And then there's the dramatic version: "It's raining cats and dogs." Which doesn't mean animals are falling from the sky, of course. It just means the rain is very heavy.
Now here's something important for learners. Talking about the weather isn't just about describing it. It's also about how you feel about it. For example, "I love this kind of weather," or "This weather is really getting me down."
Yes, weather often connects to emotions. On sunny days, people feel happier. On rainy days, some people feel calm and some feel lazy. You might hear someone say, "This weather makes me want to stay in bed all day." And honestly, I completely understand that feeling.
Same here. Now let's move into short, natural conversations. Imagine you're waiting for a bus and someone next to you says, "Cold today, isn't it?" You don't need to give a long answer. You can simply reply, "Yeah, it's freezing," or "I wasn't expecting it to be this cold."
That's such an important point. Weather talk is often short and simple. Another example: someone says, "Looks like it's going to rain." You can respond with, "I know, I should have brought an umbrella," or "I hope it doesn't start before I get home."
And this kind of small talk is powerful. It helps you sound friendly, relaxed, and natural in English. You're not just sharing information about the weather, you're sharing a moment.
Beautifully said, Jack. Now, before we move deeper into different weather situations in daily life, let's pause for a second. Think about the weather where you are right now. Is it sunny, cloudy, rainy, windy, wind? And try to describe it in one natural English sentence.
Another situation people struggle with is talking about the weather in different seasons. Every season has its own vocabulary, its own feeling, and even its own small talk style.
Winter conversations usually sound serious right away. People say things like, "The mornings are getting darker," or "This cold is no joke." And then there's always that one person who adds, "Winter hasn't even started properly yet."
And spring sounds completely different. The mood changes. You hear things like, "The flowers are finally blooming," or "It actually feels like spring today." There's a sense of hope in the air. People feel lighter.
Summer, on the other hand, brings energy and complaints. You'll hear, "The heat is unbearable," or "Why is it so humid today?" But at the same time, people also say, "Perfect weather for the beach," or "This is ice cream weather."
Autumn feels poetic in English. People talk about the crisp air, the falling leaves, or that cozy feeling when the weather cools down. It's the season of light jackets, warm drinks, and quiet walks.
Now, something many learners don't realize is that weather is often used in jokes and casual complaints. For example, "This weather can't make up its mind," which means the weather keeps changing.
Or someone might say, "Every time I wash my car, it rains." It sounds funny, but it's a very natural way to complain about bad timing.
Weather is also used in advice. If it's hot, people say, make sure you drink enough water. If it's cold, you hear, don't forget to bundle up. And when the sky looks dark, you'd better take an umbrella with you.
Even plans depend on the weather. This picnic depends on the weather. We'll go out if it clears up. If it keeps raining, we'll stay indoors. Weather often controls our decisions more than we like to admit.
And then there's forecasting, not the professional kind, but the everyday guessing. People say, it looks like it might snow tonight, or I think the rain should stop by evening. It's more feeling than science, but it keeps the conversation going.
Sometimes the weather becomes an excuse. I couldn't go out because of the storm. I stayed home because the heat was too much. Weather gives us a perfect reason without sounding lazy.
And sometimes it becomes a shared experience. Everyone in the office talking about the same heat wave. Everyone in the neighborhood talking about the same heavy rain. It creates a quiet connection between people who may not know each other well.
Now imagine you're traveling. Talking about the weather becomes even more important. You might say, the weather here is so different from my country, or I didn't expect it to be this cold here.
And locals often respond with, you should be here in summer, or this is nothing compared to last year.
There's always a comparison, always a story. One more thing learners should remember, you don't have to sound perfect. You just have to sound real. Even simple sentences, when spoken naturally, are powerful.
Absolutely. And the more you practice these small weather conversations, the easier real-life English becomes. Without pressure, without fear. Just one simple sentence at a time.
Another layer of weather talk appears when people describe how it affects their daily routine. Someone might say, I had to leave earlier because of the fog, or traffic is terrible because of the rain. Weather quietly explains delays, tiredness, and even bad moods.
And sometimes it changes how people dress. You hear comments like, I should have worn a jacket, or these shoes were a bad choice for today. Weather becomes a lesson you learn the hard way.
There are also moments when people use weather to show concern. If someone is driving in the rain, you might hear, drive safely out there, or the roads are slippery today. It's a simple sentence, but it carries care.
And then there's the way people talk about sudden changes. It was sunny this morning and now it's pouring. The temperature dropped so fast today.
These comments usually come with surprise in the voice. Weather also appears in stories. Someone might say, I was caught in the rain with no umbrella, or the wind was so strong it almost knocked me over. These little details make ordinary stories feel more alive.
And sometimes weather is used to describe a mood. She's a ray of sunshine. He's a bit of a cloud today. Or that news came out of a clear blue sky.
Weather becomes a way to talk about people and emotions without saying it directly. There are also those quiet weather moments that people talk about softly. The air feels fresh after the rain. The sky looks so clear tonight. The wind sounds peaceful. These sentences slow a conversation down.
And slowing down is important because weather talk isn't only for filling silence. Sometimes it's about sharing what you notice, what you feel in that exact moment.
Think about standing near an open window on a rainy day. Someone says, I love the sound of the rain. Another person replies, it's so calming. No one is rushing the conversation. It just flows.
Now, imagine the opposite. A hot afternoon, no wind, heavy air. Someone sighs and says, this heat is exhausting.
Another person nods and answers, I feel drained already. No long explanations needed.
This is why weather is often the first topic between strangers. It's safe, it's neutral, and everyone understands it.
Even in online conversations, weather appears. People write, rainy day vibes, or too hot to do anything today. The physical world follows us into digital space. And for English learners, this is good news, because it means you always have something to say, no matter where you are, no matter who you're talking to.
You don't need advanced grammar to talk about the clouds, the sun, the rain, or the wind.
You only need to observe and speak honestly.
One sentence, one reaction, one small shared moment.
And over time, these small moments turn into confidence. You stop translating in your head. You stop worrying about mistakes. You just speak.
Which is exactly how real English grows.
Another interesting thing is how people use weather to soften difficult conversations. Instead of jumping straight into serious topics, someone might casually say, "Looks like another gray day outside." And only after that, they move into what's really on their mind.
It's almost like weather creates a gentle bridge between silence and real conversation. You step onto that bridge without even realizing it.
Weather also appears in encouragement. When someone is waiting for better days, people say, "After every storm, the sun comes out," or "This is just a cloudy phase." They're not talking about the sky anymore. They're talking about life.
And people use weather to describe energy. She walked into the room like a gust of fresh air. He brings warmth wherever he goes. These phrases feel alive because everyone understands what they mean.
There are also moments when weather becomes dramatic in storytelling. Someone says, "The thunder was so loud it shook the windows," or "The wind howled all night long." You can almost feel the scene just from those words.
And then there are quiet disasters. The roads were flooded. My clothes never dried because of the humidity. Small sentences, big inconvenience.
Weather also affects sleep. People mention, "I couldn't sleep because of the heat," or "The rain kept me awake all night." The sky outside quietly enters the bedroom.
Even food changes with the weather. On cold days, people crave something warm. On hot days, something light. You hear, "This is perfect soup weather," or "I don't feel like eating anything heavy today."
And when weather changes suddenly, routines shake, plans move, meetings get delayed, people arrive soaked or sweating, and the first sentence is almost always about the weather.
Sometimes people discuss the weather like it's a personality. This weather is being stubborn. It's acting strange today. As if the sky has moods just like people do.
And in long-distance conversations, weather becomes a way to feel closer. "I wish you could see the sunset here." "It's storming right now. What's it like there?" Distances shrink through simple shared descriptions.
There's also that moment when weather becomes comforting. When power goes out during a storm, candles are lit. Rain hits the windows. Someone quietly says, "This feels strangely peaceful."
And that's the beauty of talking about the weather in English. It's not just vocabulary. It's memory. It's emotion. It's atmosphere.
Every drop of rain, every ray of sun, every rush of wind, it all becomes part of language.
And when learners realize that, speaking becomes easier. They're no longer searching for perfect grammar. They're just describing what they see, what they feel.
And that, honestly, is where fluency begins.
There's also the way weather shapes memories. People rarely remember a day without remembering the sky that came with it. It was pouring the day we met. Or the sun was shining so brightly that afternoon. The weather quietly stamps the moment.
And sometimes weather becomes a reason to reconnect. Someone sends a message saying, "First rain of the season today," and suddenly an old conversation starts again. One sentence opens a door.
Weather also teaches patience. You just have to wait for it to calm down. Or, this storm won't last forever. Even in daily life, that lesson repeats without us noticing.
And there's frustration too. Crops ruined, flights delayed, outings canceled. People sigh and say, "Nothing we can do about it," accepting that some things are bigger than plans.
Sometimes the weather feels like a gift. A cool breeze after a heavy day. Clear skies after weeks of rain. Someone quietly says, "We needed this." And everyone understands exactly what they mean.
And sometimes it feels unfair. A storm on a wedding day, rain on a long-awaited trip. People joke about it, but disappointment hides underneath the smiles.
Weather also changes how cities sound. Rain softens footsteps. Wind whistles through empty streets. Heat makes everything slow and quiet. People may not describe these sounds directly, but they feel them.
And those feelings leak into language. This silence feels heavy today. The city feels alive this evening. The weather sits behind those words, guiding them.
There are also moments when weather feels personal, when the sun appears right when you need hope, when rain falls on a day already filled with sadness. You might hear someone whisper, "Of all days, today."
And yet, weather keeps moving forward. Clouds pass, storms fade, night becomes morning. And people keep talking about it because it never truly repeats the same way twice.
That's what makes weather such a powerful topic for learners. It's always new, always changing, always there.
You can talk about what just happened, what's happening now, or what might happen later. 3 times, one simple topic.
And in those sentences, confidence quietly grows. Not loudly, not suddenly, just slowly and naturally.
Because you're no longer memorizing English, you're living it.
Through cloudy mornings, through bright afternoons, through silent nights filled with rain.
And with every small sentence spoken about the sky, your voice becomes stronger.
Not perfect, not polished, just real.
And real is always enough.
Before we finish, there's one more quiet truth about weather talk. It teaches listening. When someone speaks about the sky, they're often speaking about themselves too.
A tired voice saying, "It's another long gray day," isn't only describing clouds. A soft smile saying, "The air feels lighter today," isn't only about temperature.
And when you respond, you're not just practicing English, you're sharing space, even if it's only for a few seconds.
That's why weather is such a gentle teacher for learners. It doesn't demand perfection, it doesn't rush you, it simply invites you to notice and speak.
Notice the warmth on your skin. Notice the sound of rain on the roof. Notice the chill in the air before dawn, and then, quietly, put it into words.
Some days your sentence will be confident. Some days it will be simple. Some days it may even feel clumsy. And all of that is fine.
Because language grows through trying, not through waiting.
You don't need to impress anyone. You only need to express what you see and feel.
And when you do that with ease, real conversations begin to grow around it.
Coworkers start to talk, neighbors begin to smile, strangers feel less distant.
And all because of one small sentence about the sky.
That's the quiet power of this topic.
And now, as this conversation slowly settles, take a moment again to think about the weather where you are.
What does it look like right now?
What does it feel like?
And how would you describe it? In your own natural way.
No rush, no pressure.
Just one honest sentence.
Because every sentence you speak builds the next one.
And one day, without realizing it, you'll look back and notice how far your voice has traveled.
Through sunlight, through rain, through quiet, cloudy days.
And through all of it, your English will keep growing, just like the weather keeps changing.
Thank you for spending this time with us.
And for letting your English grow with simple, real conversations.
If this episode helped you feel more confident,
If it made weather feel like a friend instead of a challenge,
then stay connected with us.
subscribe for more natural English conversations like this.
We're always here to learn with you.
One sentence at a time.